Okay, we got Oblivion is a warning from your boy Legendary Drops. All right, what's he got to say about one of my favorite childhood games?
I didn't think it was real. I didn't think that there was any shot that Xbox would want to shadow drop an Oblivion remaster to this level of quality. It just didn't make any sense to me. And on top of that, we've seen this kind of thing happen. I don't even know how many times. The screenshots, the leaks, the rumors, the comparison
Huh?
videos, and all of it led to absolutely nothing.
I never seen nothing about that. This whole Oblivion coming out of left field, for like a regular person that don't know nothing about no leaks. Yeah, this is a 100% a welcoming surprise.
And even more so, just the idea of it being a shadow drop doesn't make any sense because Xbox's track record is not that good. The vast majority of their games have not done well. Avowed was a thing. Starfield
Yep.
is not going to be remembered very fondly. So you
Nope.
would expect that they'd want to give this game the red carpet treatment, but they didn't. To their credit, they didn't need to. The Oblivion remake has taken over the entire internet at this point. I call it a remake because that's exactly what it looks like, to be honest with you, though I am haunted by people's character creations.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord, people.
Bro, I've seen some of these character creations and this should be like the gold standard of character creation. I swear, dude. Like you get some absolute goblin type characters in here. You can make anybody in this thing.
I know that sometimes I can be overly critical of a lot of games and the industry as a whole, but I have no problem celebrating things that are worth celebrating. And there is a lot worth celebrating here.
And it's kind of hilarious. We're celebrating the same game 20 years later, which is kind of telling about how the industry of not only video games, but like more specifically open world video games are doing and what kind of experiences that they want to deliver versus the kind of experiences that the audience wants. And it's just funny to me.
I don't think that we've seen an all-around home run from a AAA publisher like this in a long time.
Yeah.
It's swung positive sentiment in their direction. It's created a lot of goodwill, and it has embarrassed their competition. They did it all for $50.
Yeah.
Didn't I say something about competitive pricing? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about my return to one of my favorite games of all time,
Oh, yeah.
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. We're going to talk about its internet takeover and why I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this in the future. Xbox just haymaker.
Like what? What are we going to see in the future? What, like more old banger games just come out with a remake or a remaster? I mean, that's fine. I mean, I like it, but I mean, shit, I don't even know what I want anymore as a consumer. Do I want just like updated versions of my old favorite games, or do I want like new innovative things for existing genres? I just don't know.
Nintendo in broad daylight, and nobody's talking about it. You guys know it's really nice when they start fighting for our money.
Yes.
This all started the way these things normally do. A few breadcrumbs on Reddit, Jeff Grubb dropping some hints, leakers whispering about an Oblivion remake. Most people didn't buy it, myself included, because Bethesda doesn't do remakes.
Bro, look at like this. This is like a handsome Squidward, but like goblin.
They repackage their games, remasters, ports, re-releases, sure, but a full-blown remake, that sounds like a
Is there a boob slider for the girls? Or an ass slider? I mean, with this much customization in the face, you would think that there's some sort of same level of customization in the rest of the body, right? For sure, right?
fantasy. But then it happened. Bethesda confirmed it and set a date for a live stream the following day, and then right after that, they had announced that the game was available for download. The remaster was being handled by Virtuous. If you guys have heard the name, it's because they have been everywhere at this point. These are the same folks that are working on the upcoming Metal Gear Solid remake. They've worked on the Assassin's
Remake.
Creed Ezio Collection, Batman Arkham Collection, the Bioshock Collection, Dark Souls Remastered, Nier Automata End of Yorha Edition, and more. This is far from their first rodeo, and in fact, they might be the best possible team to be able to handle a game like Oblivion, because this
Yeah, that team is actually goated. Like, yeah, they're using like Unreal 5, and then some people are saying like, oh, Unreal 5 slop or whatever, but and yeah, there's like a good amount of like unofficially supported mods to like correct some things in the game or whatever, but I mean, for the most part, the studio nailed a home run, dude.
This isn't just another classic. This is Oblivion, a cultural cornerstone, an RPG that shaped an entire generation's taste. For many of us, this was the blueprint. This was the genre. And Bethesda.
So one reason I think that this was the blueprint was because there was no other game, like besides Morrowind before it, that really perfected the formula for open world, and to hit it with such a level of well, not necessarily perfection, but like it hit the mainstream like in a crazy way.
They needed this. They needed it badly.
Yeah.
Starfield was supposed to be their second coming.
Yeah, Starfield bad. Simply put, Starfield was bad. Starfield bad.
A brand new IP, huge scale, that signature Bethesda magic, but in space. It launched big, but it fizzled fast. Word of mouth tanked, streamers dropped it in days, engagement plummeted, and then after that, they went into full-on damage control. Narrative lead Emil Pagliarulo was firing off tweets.
Oh, Jesus, I never even seen these. What is this? What's with the comments to hearts ratio? What is this? Okay, long thread. What is this thing of people on Twitter using like the thread emoji, where it's like they can't get all their words out in one little doodad? I mean, I guess. But okay, long thread. 1 of 15? Jesus Christ, dude. Like, if you're trying to explain yourself over like multiple things on Twitter, multiple little tweets, like, you need a different platform, because this is not what the platform was made for, dude. Like, this is a bastardization. Like, you might as well have just made a damn video. This is an essay. Funny how disconnected some players are from the realities of game development. Well, yes, nobody cares how their product is made. They just want the product. This is true of like almost everybody. And yet they speak with complete authority. Yeah, they're just talking out of their ass because they don't know. They're not game developers. They don't know, and they don't care how the game is made. They just want the good game. I mean, I can guess what it takes to make a Hostess Twinkie. Yeah, like sugar, microplastics, some like vanilla cake, and some cream. But I don't work in the factory, so what the hell do I really know? Not a lot. Yeah, like, also, you can just read the back of the label, dumbass. Part of me really gets it. When you're a consumer and spend money on things, that gives you the right to complain about those things. Yeah, you're right. I spend a lot of money on games every year, and sometimes it takes a lot for me not to scream into the internet's collective consciousness. I mean, you don't, like, if you got like a critique about a game, you don't have to like go out like screaming and complaining like a little child. I mean, I play tons of games, and like, not a lot of games I play are just bad simply because I'll look at like the reviews on some of like my favorite like influencer bros because they got the vouch, more or less. But for you to just like mindlessly go and buy any old game that just comes up, and then for you to have like some bad experiences sometimes, and then because of your bad experiences, it's like, oh, I feel the need to like go screaming into the Oblivion. Well, it's like, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to do it. Okay. I don't complain about games on social media for two main reasons. One, I know how hard it is to make games. Okay, who gives a shit? And have too much respect for my fellow devs. Okay, so this is like if you're not with us, you're against us type of vibe. It's us versus them type of vibes. So with that bias taken into account, then you can't really trust him at all for anything. Number two, I work for a game studio. Okay, what does that have to do with anything? You can't, because you work for a game studio, you can't have like your own opinions. What kind of logic is that? And it would be uncool and unprofessional for me to do so. But sometimes I want to, oh boy. I mean, you could just sit there and make like your own YouTube video and all that shit, dude, and just come at it from like a logical, like level-headed, just like type of critique. You know, it doesn't have to be scathing like some people's critiques, or like absolutely mind-blowingly like praise-tastic. You know, a lot like you don't give people enough credit for being like some like coming at like a video game review from like the center, or having like this was good, this was bad. Like people like that type of game review. But I guess you think that it can only be like game is 100% good or game is 100% bad. Most people don't have these constraints and are free to post whatever they want. Well, yeah. I mean, you do too. There's no law against you talking about like some game review that you just bought. The internet is a glorious wild, wild west. Yeah. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay. There was a time when I exercised that right very freely. Okay, so then what happened? When I was writing game reviews for the Adrenaline Vault forever ago, don't even know, is this a game? I was absolutely that person who would say whatever I wanted about a game. So what is the implication? Whatever I wanted, were you just like younger and you just like went off the cuff with your game review? You can come at game reviews with like a level head. You don't have to revert to like your little 15-year-old like mentality in order to give like a game review, okay? Good or bad, sometimes the good was over enthusiastically too good. Like what? Like what do we mean? It's like sometimes the good was like it goes up to 11. The game was that good? I mean, this is like weird. And sometimes the bad was me being a sarcastic asshat. I mean, nobody's perfect. Everybody is a sarcastic asshat at some point, okay? You're not a unique snowflake just because you were like a dum-dum, okay? Everybody is a dum-dum at some point in their life and have done dumb, stupid things, okay?
Mocking players for not understanding the realities of game development. Devs then took to Steam with copy-pasted replies to combat negative reviews, saying things like, some of Starfield's planets are meant to be empty by design, but that's not boring. When the astronauts went to the moon, there was nothing there. Certainly they weren't bored. Guys, what the
yeah, it's a different vibe, okay? Like, actually, in real life, going to the moon is crazy. Because if you have any little like nick or what do you call it? Like any little like faulty thing in your gear or equipment, you are actually just dead. There is no coming back. You're playing on hardcore mode, okay? But in a video game, it doesn't have to be exactly like real life, okay? We're not trying to make a real life space simulator. Is that what Starfield actually like tried to market itself as? Real life space simulator. The only game that does a good job of like a real life one-to-one depiction is like was it Forza, which is like the racing sim game. All right, like no one's going to play Starfield for realistic space sim because actually like real space is probably like really boring. All right, there's nothing going on. All the cool stuff is where the people are, okay?
hell were you even doing? This was a complete mess. Starfield didn't flop because it was broken. It flopped because it was dull. It didn't live. It didn't breathe. It didn't matter more than anything else. And that opened the door to the question whether or not Bethesda still has what it takes to even make games that people love. And I think that's what makes this remaster such a moment. It's not just a nostalgia bomb. It's a reputation reset, a chance for Bethesda to remind people what made them believe in them in the first place. Even if they didn't make this game themselves, they greenlit it, they oversaw it, they let it exist without mangling it, and it worked. I want to be clear about something. This isn't the kind of game that we need to see reach 500,000
Damn, trying to level up, jump in the dungeon.
concurrent players on Steam. It is not here to compete with today's modern releases. It is here to regain goodwill.
You can't shortcut items and spells? What?
And rebuild Bethesda's brand. I find it hilarious when I go and I read the ever-wise ex-Blizzard president turned sports betting CEO that's now marketing gambling to kids through Twitch Mike Ybarra, said that I'm skeptical about 20-year-old remasters. What was once fantastic.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guy's like stupid ass tweet. I'm skeptical about 20-year-old remasters. What was once fantastic, now remastered, will never hold up against modern masterpieces like Elden Ring. Bro, like even though Elden Ring is good, like this guy is like putting like this game on a pedestal. He probably puts women on a pedestal too. Like it's so weird. Like there can be multiple good games for different reasons. What is wrong with this guy? Like his like logic is so retarded. The bar has simply moved from safe open world RPGs to what Elden Ring brought us all. Like he thought that if he compares this to Elden Ring, he's gonna get a slam dunk, but this just looks stupid because look how many comments ratioed his stupid hearts. I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not. Well, you are wrong. Okay? Every game doesn't have to be a Souls-like Elden Ring. Okay? You are wrong. You are just wrong, sir.
Now remastered will never hold up to modern masterpieces like Elden Ring. The bar has simply moved from a safe open world RPG to what Elden Ring brought us all. I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not. Only he was proven wrong within hours. The game exploded on Steam with over 182,000 concurrent players. It probably sold millions of copies straight out of the gate. My feed has been wall-to-wall Oblivion lately. Screenshots, bugs, memes, goofy faces, pure joy. I've never seen so many grown men misty-eyed over a game drop.
Oh.
Games like the Oblivion remaster are not here to define the modern era. They are here to...
And also, to reference that other dude's tweet, at Quick, you don't get to decide what is good and bad. The market decides what is good and bad and what they want to buy. So your rightness or wrongness doesn't matter.
To remind us and developers of the past and let us revisit it with a new coat of paint. They are made cheap, sub $100 million. They don't need to sell 10 million copies to be viable. Nobody needs Oblivion to stand toe-to-toe with Elden Ring. We need Elder Scrolls 6 to do that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that they released the game for $50, Mikey? Now, I've been playing it myself, and oh, man. I'm just going to say it. This has to be one of the hard...
Damn, this open screen, I haven't even played the game yet, all right? I played the game on the 360 years ago. I haven't even cracked this bitch open yet. Like, I'm still playing Monster Hunter Wilds. But, like, right after that, I am jumping into this, like, balls deep. And you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, like, the Doom Eternal, like, open screen where the Doomslayer just standing in front of the gate with, like, his guns and shit, just, like, baller. That is sick. And you know something else? Like... The reason you have like this type of character as like the main character is Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered knows its core audience, which is mostly dudes. You can make a girl if you want, but the minority rule doesn't make the rule. Okay? It's a dude. And because you like wreath the dude in all armor, the dude can be literally anybody. You can impose your own self into that armor. Okay, that's what we do. It's like, oh, like that's me in the armor. Okay.
Artist start screens in gaming history. Once that theme kicked in, I just sat there staring for like 15 minutes, total blackout. Is this actually happening?
Yeah, that's
it's wild
sick.
To think that it's been almost 20 years, 2 decades. I usually credit Grandia 2 on Dreamcast for being the game that made me fall in love with RPGs, but Oblivion is the one that coded it into my DNA. People will tell you how revolutionary it was, how open it felt, how immersive it was, but that undersells it. For a lot of us, this isn't just our favorite game. This is the game. This is the one that defined an era. I still, to this day, struggle to explain what it felt like to play the game. It was a real adventure, streamlined from Morrowind for sure. It was much more accessible, but that didn't really matter. Before Elden Ring was the game that was praised for just letting you go, Oblivion was already doing it. I put thousands of hours into the game without even trying. You guys have to...
This is the thing with these old-ass crabs, dude. Like, the aggro radius is so massive. As long as you're by water, you are always on your tippy toes of, like, where the crab's at. Like, you'll be chilling, and it's like, oh, there's water. Let me see if there's, like, some shit in there. and then like the music's all calm and shit, like out of combat music, but then all of a sudden the music goes into like combat mode, like combat music, but then you're like, where? What's coming at me, guys? And it's like, just wait for the crowd to get there. Like, the aggro radius is big, but the move speed of the mob is not that fast. All right, he's just like, I'm gonna get you eventually.
Understand, this is before YouTube guides, pre-Twitch. You didn't even know what was coming. You couldn't plan. That mystery, that sense of unpredictability.
Oh, the Nern root. Oh, I remember this damn thing. That was the goat plant.
It was electric. I remember getting caught and tossed in jail, ended up invited into the Thieves Guild. Then I went and I botched a job where I killed a guy by accident. I got kicked out, and suddenly I'm now being recruited into the Dark Brotherhood. I would spend hours just wandering the land, finding ruins, delving into dungeons, interacting with everything I could to build up my proficiencies. I forgot that the main quest even existed until I stumbled over a hill and saw an Oblivion gate in the distance. This was the first time I'd ever played a game that was reacting to me, not leading me.
Like, for Oblivion, the main quest was the quest that you did last. The moment you exit the sewers, you just go and do side quests, and you go on an adventure. All right? Like Bilbo Baggins said, I'm going on an adventure.
You didn't play Oblivion, you lived it. And somehow, some way, we get to do that all over again. I don't think people recognize how special of an occasion this is. Virtuous delivered exactly what this game needed. It is still janky, it's still weird, it's still buggy, but it's sharper, cleaner, and more modern where it counts. They kept the creation engine as the system that is running the game's logic, but they layered Unreal Engine 5 over the top of it to graphically bring it into the modern era. They let it be what it was, but just with a bit more polish. I mean, they still even kept the goofy misreads from the voice actors in the original.
I heard that thieves broke into the Arcane University, the Imperial Legion compound, and the temple all on the same night. Wait a minute, let me do that one again.
Combat feels tighter, the UI is cleaner, you can actually assign your stats manually instead of just getting locked into a starting class. Small, smart, meaningful changes. That is all this game needed. And man, booting this game up after so many years, it feels surreal. Sure, the colors could pop more, performance is a little bit iffy, it's Unreal Engine 5, so it's kind of a mess on PC and console. That's becoming a bit of a trend lately, not a good one. Definitely makes me worried about the future of games with more studios wanting to adopt Unreal Engine 5, but in motion, it's beautiful. The Imperial City glowing on the horizon, stars above the forest, the scope of the game feels real. The models, yeah, to be honest with you, a lot of them actually fall into the uncanny territory. It's definitely not how I imagined some of these characters would look using modern textures, but Bethesda has skipped an entire generation of hardware. It has been 20 years since Oblivion released. It's been over a decade now since Skyrim released. So anything at this point is going to look otherworldly. This isn't just a remaster, it's a recalibration. This is not a victory lap, but a course correction. It doesn't prove that Bethesda still has it, but it shows that they remember at least what it looked like. And maybe that's enough for now. Because
maybe that's enough for now. I mean, as far as open worlds go, I mean, for the last, like, what, 10, 15 years, we've had Skyrim come out umpteen billion different ways on every console, all right? So we've had, like, Skyrim type of games come out and kind of hold the fort down. It was more or less like a meme, like, oh, Skyrim on this, console 1, Skyrim on console 2, Skyrim on console 3. Much the same way of, like, what do you call it, that GTA 5 was doing. GTA 5 was on, like, every console. So it kind of followed the same route. But then as far as like open world stuff goes, like we kind of had a resurgence of Souls-like games and also like action combat type of games, kind of fill that void of, we shrink the world down and we put more content in a densely populated area for the player to move around in. That's why how we have come to, you know, have things like Elden Ring and Sekiro and, you know, was it like Neo, and a bunch of other games like that. Devil May Cry, was it like Bayonetta? What else? What's the one with like the girl and she had like the nice ass and everyone's complaining that she's too hot, but it's like, oh, the model looks that hot, but I forgot. Was it like Beyblade or something? Blade, whatever. You know what I mean.
Because Elder Scrolls 6 is still on the horizon, and this could be exactly what they needed to be able to reset the table. They didn't need to reinvent Oblivion. That wasn't necessary here. They just needed to remind everyone why we loved it, and they did. I feel like this should be the point of making remasters or remakes. It's an opportunity to go back and touch the very games that made these companies who they are, remind them of what players want, and then build upon that. After closing my first Oblivion gate and watching the flames spew out all around me, my game crashed immediately after. It's such an authentic experience. They really captured what it was like to play it back in the day. I mean, they layered Unreal Engine 5 over the Creation Engine. What did we think was going to be the result of that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's buggy. There's tons of issues and things like that. It's just so damn fun to play. It's so fun to explore. And it's one of those games where you don't realize how much you missed it until you go back to play it.
Nice.
And I've just been enjoying myself. With that said, I do think that this is a reminder that there's a difference between bugs and performance issues. And it's like I said earlier this week, players are going to put up with a lot if the game is fun or enjoyable. Games will be judged by their merits if they have them. If there is no merit, well, then all they're going to see is the negative. You're not having that with this game because people are just having fun playing it. That's how that whole thing works. I know this is a Bethesda-led project, and Virtuous is the one that actually developed it. And those guys have been cooking, by the way. Holy shit. But Bethesda needed something after Starfield.
Yeah.
That game, I don't think people realize how much damage that did to their reputation. You have to keep in mind
a massive shit ton of damage to the reputation, because if that was the last thing that I remember from Bethesda, like I was like, damn, next Elder Scrolls is about to be dog shit. I was like worried, dude, but like I'm still worried because it's like it's the Bethesda, the same Bethesda that made Starfield is the same Bethesda that is making Elder Scrolls 6. Okay, so it's not Virtuous making Elder Scrolls 6. So yeah, like Starfield's damage to the reputation is still there.
That before Starfield, it's been over a decade since Bethesda released a new game, which means that in that time, an entire console generation, the gaming market has tripled. There's triple the players, triple the money. And with that, Starfield ended up being people's first taste of Bethesda. And it tasted like shit. You have to do something about that. You can't let that sit out there like that. Putting out an Oblivion remaster at this level of quality, that's gonna give you a much better reputation, especially for the price that they put it at.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a Bethesda decision. This was an Xbox decision. They were the ones that said, hey, we need to go make an Oblivion remaster. I talked to a couple people, and they said it wasn't even Bethesda that actually pulled the trigger on it. It was Xbox. And it was a smart choice by them. But they've had a rough go of it for the last decade or more now. The Xbox One series didn't do very well with them. The now Xbox series is not doing very well for them. The competition is lapping them like it's a damn tradition at this point.
Yeah.
And, you know, a funny thing happens when these companies get backed into a corner. They start looking for other options. They start trying to fight back. And they start swinging like they should have swung a long time ago.
Which is kind of funny because it just goes back to the vibe of like, what's that one saying from like the boxing dude? What was it? Muhammad Ali? Like once he like did a bunch of fights and then had all this money, and then he like kind of retired for a couple years, but then he wanted to come back, and then he started to train like he used to. But then one comment that came out of his mouth was, damn, it sure is hard to like wake up and train like I used to when I wake up in silk sheets. Which kind of goes like along with the whole thing of like, you know, once you're on top, you're just like chilling. You don't have to try, more or less. That's the vibe. But yeah, that was it.
And in the case of Xbox, it's pricing a game fairly. You know, Nintendo just announced a $90 Breath of the Wild plus DLC remaster. And then here comes Xbox with one of the most renowned and one of the most well-known games in Bethesda's entire game catalog.
Oh, yeah. Nintendo's going to look like a clown for coming out with that dumb shit, dude. 100%. Like, yeah, maybe like the super diehards will get it. But like as far as like trying to get like bring in new people, $90+ or whatever for your little remake. Bro, I guarantee you Oblivion's better than Breath of the Wild. Okay? $50 was $90. That's like double. You think because it costs double, you get double the value? X to doubt. All right, brother?
And they put it out for $50. That's not a coincidence. This isn't some bargain bin bundle half-hearted reskin. This is a nearly full remake of one of the most influential RPGs of all time.
Bro, if that wasn't an absolute knockout, like Shin Shoryuken, like uppercut to Nintendo, I don't know what is. $50 remake and it looks good, plays good, versus this little like Breath of the Wild remake where it's like almost $100. You think you're going to get double the time or double the enjoyment? That's not how that works, Nintendo.
Not just with visual upgrades, but rebuilt on Unreal Engine 5, packed with DLC, improved systems, better combat, and a UI overhaul. It is on the same level of fidelity and scope as the Demon's Souls remake from Bluepoint, and that game launched at $70 and still costs $70 today. And yet here we are with Bethesda and Xbox just dropping Oblivion for $50. Not $60, not $70, not $90, $50. That alone makes it one of the most important releases of this year, not because of what the game is, but because of what that price represents. In an industry that's currently feeding on its own customers, where publishers have spent the last 4 years normalizing $70 as the baseline and now pushing into the $80 to $90 range without even blinking, this isn't just a fair deal, it's a challenge, a correction, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's a deliberate, calculated decision that's signaling two things loud and clear. Xbox knows that the industry is overreaching, and they plan to undercut it. At least that's what makes
good. Because I guarantee you, with all the success that this game has brought in, you know there's some greedy little like asshole going, damn, we should have charged $60 for this thing. If I'd have known it was going to be this popular, I could have had $10 times the amount of units we sold, more money. All right, that's what I guarantee you some of these guys are thinking.
Makes the most sense from my perspective, because Xbox isn't doing great. They haven't been doing great for a long time. Since the disastrous release of the Xbox One, the brand has struggled to find its identity. They lost ground to PlayStation during the last generation, and they never fully recovered. And now here we are in the Xbox Series era, and things haven't gotten any better. If anything, they've regressed even further. Xbox console sales have completely tanked, while PlayStation is outselling them at twice the rate. The Nintendo Switch is likely to be the most sold console in gaming history, breaking over 150 million units sold. If we look at the last 2 years of their game releases, Hi-Fi Rush is arguably the only respected release. Redfall blew a hole in the ground. Starfield was memed on for months. South of Midnight was an interesting game, but it's not really going to be pushing any units. And Avowed, I'm sure some people played it on Game Pass.
Avowed. Did you put up Avowed numbers twice?
It's ironic, really. Xbox has essentially returned to the exact position that it was in before the Xbox 360, the forgotten platform, technically competent, but no killer identity. Much of that I blame on the loss of Halo. Fumbling your mascot and what your console is known for is going to have some pretty harsh consequences. But as the hardware battle is drug on, they have been put in a corner. They have to start fighting back. I don't think this $50 price is a peace offering. It's a pivot, or at least it should be. This is the kind of move that you make when you realize that your platform has no dominance and your audience is not big enough for you to be able to justify absurd prices. So instead, what you do is you lean into something that you can control, value. Well,
all those Nintendo bros, PlayStation bros, you go, fuck them. Because there's been like, you know, you see like in the old E3 days of like all the CEOs going up and they're like, okay, guys, this is my segment. This is like the green one for Xbox. This is the blue one for PlayStation. This is the red one for Nintendo. And then maybe you see them just bullshitting together. It's like, oh yeah, this is video games. Like, you know, there's that type of vibe. But like, also, where's the gentle nudging? Where is the competitive pricing? Where's the hunger, the drive to have the best console? You know, trying to, you know, get like a one over on the other guys. It's like everybody's all buddy. It's like, oh, we're all like just making good video games, guys. There was none of that. This game coming out is an absolute sucker punch to the other two companies.
Sony and Nintendo are too busy extracting maximum value out of their same recycled franchises at inflated prices. Xbox just handed players one of the most iconic RPGs ever made at a price that actually respects their wallet. And I think the timing really matters here, because you cannot tell me that it's a coincidence that we just saw Nintendo announce Mario Kart World for $80 and a Zelda Breath of the Wild, a 10-year-old game, DLC remaster bundle for $90.
Yeah, what a clown show. I would never. I am so happy I am not a Nintendo fanboy, because my wallet would not be able to handle it. Nintendo is the family console, because you need a family size income to sustain the level of like bullshit that comes out of Nintendo.
Xbox undoubtedly is trying to make Nintendo look foolish, and they're trying to take advantage of the situation. This is exactly what we want to see. This is the energy that we need. This is exactly what I hope that we would start seeing. These companies need to be at each other's throats, because when they are, players win. Competition means better games, better prices, and less arrogance. It breeds quality. It forces fairness. The problem is, for years now, this industry hasn't had any real competition.
Yeah, it's just been status quo. Okay, guys, we're all going to raise our price from $50 to $60. And then all three of them followed suit. And then a couple years later, okay, guys, we're raising the price again from $60 to $70. Okay, and then they all follow suit. And then it's been stuck on $70 for like a long time now. But then it's like there's all these like microtransactions and additions of the game, upwards of $130 for some of these additions. All right, it's a clown show.
Sony and Nintendo don't really compete with one another. They operate in entirely different lanes. Nintendo dominates the handheld section and family-oriented experiences, while Sony rules the high-end console space. And Xbox, well, they used to be the equalizer. They used to be that third pillar that kept the other two in check, but after a decade of missteps, they've lost their power, and with it, they lost relevance. Now, keep in mind, none of these platforms are trying to compete directly with PC. They don't think that players are just going to wall off and go and build a gaming PC. Steam, to them, is treated like it's an alternate revenue stream, not
alternate revenue stream. Wow. I mean, when I play Oblivion, I'm going to be playing it from Steam.
A rival. And so, with Xbox being largely absent from the fight, Nintendo and Sony have gotten incredibly comfortable, too comfortable. And that's why we're seeing higher prices, because without competition, they don't really have to care what the players think. But even unchecked, there's a ceiling, because eventually that arrogance is going to collide with an even bigger issue, saturation. And I think that Xbox and the pricing that we just saw may be the first time in years that they just took a step towards addressing that. Because the truth is, nobody is safe from the looming threat that's been creeping beneath all of these price hikes, remasters, deluxe editions, and seasonal roadmaps of live service games. The games industry right now is making too much content, and it's making it too fast at too high of a price for an audience that is already overwhelmed. I'm seriously wondering if Xbox's pricing of the Oblivion remaster may be a sign that some of these publishers are waking up to the idea that there is an oversupply crisis unfolding across this entire industry. Too many games, too little demand. Mid-tier and even some AAA games are being churned out at record speeds, but the audience...
Like, what AAA games are being churned out at record speeds? Last time I checked, AAA game developers, they take a long ass time to make games. Like Hollywood movie level budgets, like 2, 3, 4, 500K budgets, right? That stuff takes years. Like, what? Maybe I could be wrong. But, like, what AAA dev is coming out with, like, IPs at, like, record numbers or record level pace?
Simply isn't there to sustain all of it. I mean, just in the last 6 months alone, we saw Monster Hunter Wilds, Path of Exile 2, Avowed, Marvel Rivals, Split Fiction, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Schedule 1, Expedition 33, and Oblivion Remastered.
Okay. Some of those games are like more or less either indie developers, like kind of smaller, and then some of the game developers are kind of like middle sized of like a couple hundred people. It depends. Like when I hear the word AAA developer, I'm thinking like thousands of people are working on this thing. And just to change like one line of code, you have to go through like 5 levels of people to like get the okay to change this level of code. It's like, okay. Whereas like from like an indie developer or like maybe a mid-tier level developer, you don't have to go through anybody. And if you do, maybe it's like one person, if that, so you can get stuff done quicker.
All of them dropping in an increasingly crowded marketplace, and that's only scratching the surface of some of the games that were released. I mean, the whole reason that I was confused and frustrated about Nintendo wanting to increase prices to $80 or analysts thinking that it's somehow healthy for Grand Theft Auto 6 to go up to $100 was there is simply just too many games in this industry. There's too many games that are out there. Players have too much choice. And when supply is that high and demand is so low, prices have to come down to meet demand, or you're just going to see more games fail and more studios close. And I think,
which is kind of telling, not only of the game industry, but also the U.S. economy. So like what? People just, what is the video game industry just dying? Why? Because what? People don't have money to play games. They have to work more to maintain like living with their mom and dad, and maybe they own a car or something. Maybe they have a phone bill. Maybe they pay the electric or rent or something. And with their one job, it's like you can barely even get by with that. I know that's like I'm veering off.
I think that's what Xbox might be betting on. Not nostalgia, not charity, market pressure. I want you guys to think about it like this. When a remaster hits the market with near remake level quality, full DLC, and a sub-premium price, it suddenly looks like it's the best value in the room because it is the best value in the room.
Yeah.
This isn't goodwill. This is strategy, because unlike Sony and Nintendo, Xbox doesn't have anything left to protect. Their first-party titles haven't had any impact. Their platform isn't going to be winning the hardware race. Their legacy titles, Halo, Gears, Fable, they've either gone cold or gone missing. Game Pass, while smart in theory, hasn't really become the Netflix of games.
I mean, Halo, I mean, we know we're getting an, what games did you say? I'll go back. Halo, the 343 broke off, and most of the studio has made their own Halo studio for the next Halo installment a game, but that's going to be another clown show. Gears, we already know there's going to be another Gears. What else did you say?
In the room. This isn't goodwill. This is strategy, because unlike Sony and Nintendo, Xbox doesn't have anything left to protect. Their first-party titles haven't had any impact. Their platform isn't going to be winning the hardware race. Their legacy titles, Halo, Gears, Fable.
Yeah, the last whatever Fable with like the ugly girl. Yeah, that was like bad. I didn't even like know anything about that game. I didn't even see like any content made on that game.
They've either gone cold or gone missing. Game Pass, while smart in theory, hasn't really become the Netflix of gaming like they would have hoped, so the only way that these guys can compete is through value. This is why I think Xbox might actually be learning, not because they care more, not because they've suddenly wanted to become more consumer first, but because they're desperate. They've lost too much ground to be able to play by the old rules, so now they're going to start trying to test out some new ones. Out of the 3 major platform holders, they are the weakest, but they're also the most dangerous, especially given the fact that they have done away with console exclusivity. So if they start slashing prices, that's going to become a problem.
Ooh. Still not going to get a console, because ever since I converted to PC is the GOAT.
Because they're not just going to be doing it on their platform, they're going to be doing it on their competitors' platforms as well. I'm really hoping that this isn't just some one-off play, because this could be the start of a winning strategy. Think about the games that Xbox has in their pipeline. Doom Dark Ages, Gears of War E-Day, Fable. These aren't throwaway titles. These are high-profile IPs with built-in audiences.
I would probably have to say, because every one of those games was like good in the beginning, but then they just turned into shit. It is what it is. Like Halo, Gears, Fable. Yes, those are all like a high, like profile. Like I don't even know if you can call them high anymore. Because like would you go with like you're only as good as your last video game? I mean, well, partly yes, but partly no, because for me to say yes, it's like, well, I would have to ignore like the first couple games that made all those games good. But if I go no, well then it's like, okay, well then I have to ignore the new games because those games were just slop.
If Xbox sticks to this model, competitive pricing, multi-platform releases, they could position themselves as the one major publisher that's actually in touch with reality. Now, to be clear, I don't think that's actually going to happen. I don't have a lot of faith in this industry or these publishers to think that these guys are going to have the foresight to realize that if you slash your prices in response to your competition increasing theirs, you're going to be able to reach higher revenues. You're going to be able to reach a much wider audience. But if anybody could do it, it would be Xbox. They're the ones that are the best positioned to be able to pull this off in the first place. Their games are largely subsidized through Game Pass to begin with. They already have done away with console exclusivity. So you're going to be cutting prices on their platform. Imagine how much that would suck to be them. Imagine the impact of a game like Doom Dark Ages dropping for $60 instead of $70. I know it's already at $70 right now, but this is a hypothetical more than anything else. I wish these companies would wake up to realize this. The problem is these guys, for the most part, have banded against us. They've been working together. They've been following one another rather than actually competing with one another.
Yeah.
And because of that, things have been incredibly unfair for us. You know, I saw somebody that was very upset with the fact that I was talking about the Elder Scrolls Oblivion and its remaster and how much I've been enjoying it, and I've been memeing on Twitter and stuff about it and whatnot. And they said that you cry for change, but you keep handing them money.
I mean, understandably, all these like big like YouTuber influencer people, this is like all the stuff is like a job to them. I mean, I get it. And if like I understand, like you have to understand the concept of something, nothing, and then the third thing, which is like behind your head, like it's not even, you're not even aware of it. If you want something to change, you have to put that thing like behind your head. All right, but if like an influencer bro does this, that is like a death sentence for their video game playing, streaming, video making career. All right, it just is. So I get it whenever some of these guys have to come out with like a critical review, but it's like, oh, I had to pay for it or whatever. I mean, but like no one's paying for these games. Like over here, they're all getting like review copies or whatever. It's just I would like to say it's complicated, but it's also not complicated. Because if you really like and love like a video game, I don't know, IP or something, and the current iterations you think are bad, then you have to just not give that company money anymore. Stop making content or whatever. Find out something else. Like he said, we are swimming in good games right now. There's been a ton of good games that have came out in the last couple years. Yes, there's a lot of stinkers, but there's also like a lot of good ones too.
We get change if we vote with our wallets. And voting with your wallet doesn't mean not buying anything, because things really aren't going to change, and that's not even realistic to begin with. People are just going to buy something instead. But supporting a near remake like Oblivion for $50 is the exact kind of message that you want to send. You want to reward good behavior. Don't buy the bad games. Buy the good games. We're not winning anything if you're not buying games that are actually good or worth supporting. You want to send a signal to these companies saying, hey, this is what I want, and I want more of it. And then they'll make more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that's how it's supposed to work. Whether it actually does, I guess we'll find out in the future.
Well, one thing that is like a wrench in the gears are all of these made up statistics and engagement metrics that these companies have just literally made up out of their ass in order to justify, keep on making the bad games. All right. if you don't buy their game, they will simply come out with another engagement metric that is like positive for them. So it's like it's a bob and weave kind of like fight. All right.
Sure, but yeah, I've been having a lot of fun playing Oblivion. It has been so great to return back to the game. Oh man, it's been so long since I've played in a Bethesda title to begin with. I think I only played like 15 hours of Starfield before I gave it up, but I've just been having a lot of fun. It's honestly one of my favorite games of all time. So it's kind of surreal that they even made a remaster like this in the first place. It's been blowing my mind. Though I still need to play Expedition 33 and also the Marathon Alpha. Apparently Bungie wants to talk to me.
Oh.
We'll see how that goes.
Oh.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have been enjoying Oblivion. I'm going to be playing a little bit more of it tonight. Hopefully I'll play some Expedition 33 as well. But yeah, outside of that, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Noise.
Family.
Dang, dude. Man, I can't wait to go play that game. As soon as I get done with doing all the shit I want on in Wilds, bro, I am on that shit. But yeah, overall, another banger from your boy Legendary Drops. Yeah, good stuff, man. Keep it up. But other than that, that's it from me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.